Now, for more on this, I'm joined in the studio by our international affairs commentator, Douglas Herbert. Doug, thanks for joining us. Hi. France has a very long-standing relationship with communist China, and this goes a long way back to Charles de Gaulle. Just how much of these memories are palpable for these two leaders that have been meeting up?
Well, I can tell you that Emmanuel Macron definitely remembers Charles de Gaulle's talk about China. We always say Charles de Gaulle had a certain idea of France. Well, he also had a very certain idea of China. He was one of the first sort of Western leaders to see China as playing this very, very major global role and having a deep impact on change across the world and wanting to seize that moment. A very sort of pragmatic, long-term approach, long-term thinking to China. Macron is there today bringing that same sort of thinking with him. He's not oblivious to all the human rights issues, to all of those concerns. But what he does see is right now a golden, and I will stress the word golden opportunity for France to tap into what it would see as a special partnership with China. Why is it such a golden moment? You have basically an erratic, unpredictable Donald Trump in the White House. Even the Chinese are having a lot of trouble figuring him out. So he's not seen as quite a reliable partner, even if he has been in some ways pro-China. You have the UK, bogged down in Brexit. You have Germany, Angela Merkel, struggling to form a coalition. You have Spain, torn up over Catalonia. France, in a certain respect, is like the last man standing. So when Xi Jinping looks to Europe right now and he says, who is my go-to leader? He looks to Emmanuel Macron, and they have a lot to talk about. Obviously, all the issues we know, such as North Korea, such as climate change, such as fighting terror and the financing of terror, but also more difficult issues such as market access. But I will tell you one thing, that Emmanuel Macron right now is going to try to do everything in his power. He has a big business delegation with him to try to latch onto that partnership with China. And he sees France as right now being the ideal type of partner for Xi Jinping. And I think that feeling is mutual. Emmanuel Macron's book, Revolution, has just been translated into Mandarin. And I think 50,000 copies are on the bookshelves and being sold. So he's highly rated in Chinese popular opinion right now. Obviously, things could change, but both sides see this as a significant visit, not just diplomacy as usual.
But of course, we saw Emmanuel Macron do the same with the Middle East when that crisis erupted in Lebanon.
Right.
Now, Doug, this is quite a delicate balancing act for Macron, wouldn't you say? Because, of course, there are issues that are very positive, what you called a golden moment for the two countries, but there are also thorny issues that we'd have to address.
Yeah, the French press, one of the papers here used the French word équilibriste, which literally means sort of a balancing act, a juggler. And that's exactly it. Look, climate change is a big issue where France and China see eye to eye. Xi Jinping, right after Emmanuel Macron was elected in May, called him right away to stress that China is determined to defend the Paris Climate Agreement, an agreement which, as we all know, Donald Trump is pulling out of. They see each other as very much partners on green issues in an ecological future, as Xi Jinping would put it, a sort of stronger, more inclusive, more sustainable planet of the 21st century. The problem is they can cooperate all they want on green issues. Emmanuel Macron, as I said earlier, is not blind to the fact that there are a lot of many, many more troublesome issues. Xi Jinping is a leader, a paramount leader. He just got extra powers at this recent party congress. He's perhaps the most powerful Chinese leader in a generation since either Deng Xiaoping or since even Mao Zedong before him. And this is a man who has cracked down on internet freedoms, who has...
You don't think Macron's going to rock the boat by addressing that?
Who don't think Macron is going to rock the boat. Macron has brought a very large business delegation. He sees Macron as a man with whom literally he can do business. They'll be signing a lot of deals. But like I said, it's still a regime that cracks down on cultural and linguistic freedoms in Tibet, which is curtailing freedoms on the internet, which has a lot of what's called systematic abuses by many human rights groups in both the police and the judiciary. So while Xi Jinping talks, a very enlightened talk about climate change, about global issues, about building a new Silk Road, about the world of the future, domestically, internally, he's still, for many people, especially outside China, a very problematic leader, a leader who curtails internal freedoms in the name of trying to be a more powerful man and being able to project himself and China onto the world stage.
So all eyes on that meeting between Macron and
which will be tomorrow and
Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Douglas Herbert, thank you very much for that analysis.